I know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
It really is that stupid. Make no mistake, that is your President Joe Biden. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is time for the Inner Circle. That's where you and I meet on Subscribestar and on YouTube. Well, YouTube is tomorrow. Today is the preparedmind.club. There we go. I got all my ducks in a row. Pow, pow, pow. Knock them over the fence. We're set. Yes, the preparedmind.club. And subscribestar.com. You go to the preparedmind.club. You go there. You pay $2 a month. You can show up every single day live and get the information as it's fresh off the griddle. Right? It's not, and I'll tell you what, even on YouTube, the information is not stale. We still beat most, if not all, of the other channels and people with an opinion out there. It's incredible to me. Right? When I look and see what they've got there, it's like, whoa, you guys are still a day behind. You stay ahead of the game right here. So let's start out with this. I did that Joe Biden capacability because he's showing to be really a liability now to the World Economic Forum, the New World Order, the Democrat Party, and even a liability to himself. This is the show, folks. This is where we're going to talk about it. Now, more interesting developments in the way of Joe Biden and should he stay in office. His impeachment looks like it's becoming something real. Now, right now, we're still at impeachment inquiry or a promise of an impeachment inquiry. Impeachment inquiry? No. Bullshit talk about an impeachment inquiry. A real impeachment inquiry. An impeachment process started, an impeachment process ending up in an impeachment vote. And then it goes to the Senate where they debate whether or not they're going to go through with an investigation and their trial. And then they have their trial, and then they decide if they want to have a vote. That's why I was like, well, if they don't start this now, it ain't going to get done. But they're going to continue to drag this old buffoon through the mud by his nostrils. The guy is just incomprehensibly dense. Yet, he and others like him manage to stay in positions of power. How they do it is beyond me, except they are known to be useful tools and sellouts. Consequently, they're allowed to stay in positions of power and enrich themselves with a little bit of money. You know, Joe's got like what, 30, 40, $50 million that we know of just from Ukraine alone. Yeah, pretty good grifter if you ask me. So, McCarthy held a press conference today about the impeachment inquiry, and the media attended with frothing mouths and gaping ear holes. And an Associated Press reporter was defending, trying to anyways, Joe Biden's corruption and lies. And Kevin Do Nothing Ever POS McCarthy, Speaker of the House. Yeah, he's a Republican. Yeah, I don't care. He kind of basically, put her on the spot and made her admit that there is evidence to support the inquiry. Now, I am not impressed with the media, obviously. I'm not impressed with Kevin McCarthy. I'm not impressed with the Republican Party, who has members that are defending Biden as well. It's unconscionable. Just what the hell is going on in this world? What has happened to logic and reason, intelligence, and thought? Anyway, so McCarthy takes the opportunity to kind of slam down someone with the IQ of a potato. So Biden may get this impeachment inquiry against him. The House may open up an impeachment process, but only if the masters of Washington, D.C. should desire it. And to be impeached, they have to allow it. And then to be removed by the Senate, now, folks, that would be the ultimate shit show to buy tickets for. Imagine that we go through months and months and months of Democrats accusing Republicans of attacking a stalwart, honest, decent guy like Joe Biden. Imagine that. From their side, that's how they see him. And the Democrats would look at the Republicans as a bunch of petty liars, hypocrites, and everything else. And, they're not all wrong on all counts. What we need are good, decent, honest Americans in Congress. And there aren't many of those. So the shit show would be the Democrats winding themselves all up against us and the Republicans winding themselves up all against the Democrats. In other words, further splitting and further increasing the gulf between the left and the right. The left and the right. The left and right, they're going to just totally, it's going to take a telescope to look across it. They used to walk across the aisle and work with one another. Now they can't stand to be in the chamber together, and I don't blame them. I really don't. I find them to be repulsive and disgusting. That is to say, congressmen. They're not impressing me. Folks, there's going to be a shit show coming. Are you prepared? Now, Joe Biden appears to be, going down. Going down. He's not looking good. Days before this impeachment inquiry talk was actually initiated, what did we have? We had Kamala Harris saying she was ready to step on up. Well, maybe the Biden clan is going down. Or maybe they're just going to be swept from the scene and everyone will forget about them. But for now, Hunter Biden, folks, has federal gun charges, 3 counts of federal gun charges against him. He's been indicted now. 3 counts of possessing a gun while on drugs. What difference does it make that he's on drugs? I mean, is this going to be the standard? Once again, I like to look at things. So you mean if I'm under the influence of alcohol or I'm on prescription drugs, I'm not allowed to have my guns? Is that it? Anyways, he's, as far as I'm concerned, this is how the court's going to look at Hunter Biden. 3 counts of 3 federal indictments, possession of a gun while on drugs. Well, we're going to have to charge him with a minor misdemeanor, and we're going to have to suspend that if he's a good boy for a week, and then no jail time served, even though he never went to jail, and no fine needed because, he's Biden. And just keep being a good boy, Hunter, and move along. That's what I expect to come from this. I would love to see Hunter in an orange jumpsuit with some shiny stainless steel bracelets on. I just don't expect to see it. I expect him to get the royal treatment, kind of like Prince Andrew in England. Well, his very, 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 very close association, very, very much so with Jeffrey Epstein of, Little St. James Island, where the Lolita Express would take British and American mega powerful men and women down to go have fun with underage kiddos. Allegedly. But I believe that, Epstein was found guilty. And right now, folks, there's a big hullabaloo going on with JP Morgan Bank. That's right. These rich, powerful, sick bastards. Did I mention that they're a bunch of perverts and rapists too? Well, yeah, they're in charge of Washington, D.C. These are the exact people that are funding every single political action committee, both parties, individual congressmen and senators, and, of course, greasing the skids at the White House. So this guy, right, who's involved with JP Morgan, big shot executive at JP Morgan, his name is Jess Staley. Well, there's a Jane Doe victim over Jeffrey Epstein, and she's named an executive from JP Morgan, and she got $290 million from the bank. How the hell does that work? How is the bank responsible for what JP Morgan executives have done? Anyways, this judge in this case is allowing a private individual to question the victim of a Jeffrey Epstein crime. Isn't that interesting? I mean, fascinating. Now, essentially, Jess Staley is being accused of raping this Jane Doe person. So his attorneys get to go and have a little sit down and berate her. They're going to try to buy her off. Anyways, she's accused him of raping her in Epstein's house. Folks, we need the names. They need to name the names of the rich and shameless and the perverts and rapists. America needs to wake up. They need a serious wake-up call. If you think these are the only two guys involved with Epstein, yeah, wrong. Prince Andrew, how many other royals, how many other judges? As we go into this great reset, are we, you and I, or are we not learning who the bad seeds are? Who are the snakes? I think it's becoming quite obvious. Quite obvious. And then from within government alone, they're not innocent, not by a fucking stretch. If the money wasn't coming from the banks, where would it come from? Where could it come from? How about this? The Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, he's been ratted out by Max Blumenthal. He says that the Secretary of State, the current Secretary of State, is making I'm going to use the phrase boatload of money off of the Ukraine war. That's right. The Secretary of the State, who wants the war to go on and on and on, he stands to gain financially. So Blumenthal did an interview, and he pointed out that the Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, quote, has major skin in the game when it comes to continuing this war. That's right, Tony Blinken, founded a firm called West Exec Advisors, which finesses contracts for the arms industry and big tech through the Pentagon and the State Department. He and his former colleagues from the Obama administration founded this firm to profit off their connections with the major winners of the Ukraine proxy war. Who are the major winners of the war between Ukraine and Russia, folks? Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Palantir. All the Beltway bandits, as we call them here in Washington. That's what Blumenthal said, folks. Folks, there's your testimony that government officials, while in office, promote, push, and engage the country in war to make themselves profits. Profits not like the profit of prepping, teaching about prepping, not like religious profits, but profits as in money. They profit off of war. Imagine if you owned a company that made grenades and you were in the government and you're like, well, hell, let's have some war so I can get more contracts for grenades. That's it, right? Tony Blinken should have zero authority if he invests in or owns anything having to do with the military industrial complex. Here we are, folks. It's not war profiteers on the outside. It's now war profiteers from within the government. That's what Mr. Blumenthal is saying. If he's wrong, I guess Tony Blinken's going to have to sue him, right, for lying about him? Are we or are we not allowed? Are we or are we not allowed to talk about what these scumbags are doing? The facts. Well, get this. YouTube, folks, you know, my favorite. YouTube is censoring evidence. They're removing information. They're removing videos about the Ukrainian troops, Azov Battalion, swinging, hanging on to, flying Nazi symbols, Nazi flags. And I said to myself, geez, why would they want facts to be kept from the public? It's because they are profiting from this war in Ukraine. And the fact that there's a Nazi battalion in Ukraine, well, they wouldn't want the public to get upset about it and say, you know what, we're not fighting. We're not supporting Nazis. Folks, Ukraine is a cesspool of money laundering and war profiteering. And when a company like YouTube decides to remove that information, what does that tell you about YouTube? What does that tell you about social media? What does that tell you about big tech? They're all tied together. YouTube protects the pharmaceutical industry. YouTube protects Washington, D.C. YouTube protects the bankers. YouTube protects the war profiteers. And YouTube hides actual, literal Nazi war brigades, the Azov Battalion. And people wonder, yeah, what are you talking about when you say shit hits the fan, John? Where's your proof? Where's your evidence? How much more do we, you and I, need to point out? How much more? How much more? Right? Now, there's a topic out there that I could not even begin to discuss. So instead, and I hope that Jolene puts this this link up, I have a joke for you. And it's so funny you won't laugh. Please pay attention to what I have to say. This is a joke. The FDA approves emergency use of sheep vitamins. Sheep vitamins. That's right. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, in this joke, has approved, again, emergency use of sheep vitamins. Do you have critical horsey medications? Do you think that they are going to, again, try restricting veterinary medicines that are proven safe for horses? I just wonder, are people going to line up and get their sheep vitamins? I can't believe what is going on in this country right now. This was incredible. Please pay attention to what I'm saying in this joke. The Providence Hospital System. There's lots of different hospital systems, right? There's like the St. Mary's and St. Jude's. Those are some examples of some religious ones. There's Kaiser. I don't even know if they're around anymore. There's Banner Health. I guess Providence is another one. Providence Hospital System is imposing mandatory sheep vitamins for their workers. Mandatory, folks. Non-compliance with this rule will result in unpaid leave and potential termination. Get ready, folks, to catch my drift on this. Or you could catch your death, as they used to say about the common cold. They're doing this, Providence is, without a national or even a regional outbreak or pandemic. Right? This hospital system is already mandatorily requiring that its workers get sheep vitamins. Are you a sheep? Can you believe it, folks, already? I see nobody. Nobody is sick. But here they go again. It's real, folks, and there is a 0% need as this Xerox copy of a hoax is back. 0% need. They don't even have some fake bullshit videos out of China or Italy or Iran or anywhere else. They don't even have that. They don't have a scare. They don't have anyone doing the kicking chicken, falling down on the sidewalk, doing the floundering fish. Nothing. They're already requiring it, mandating that sheep eat their vitamins. Are you ready to resist? Are you ready to scream hell no at supermarkets and Karens, stores and schools? You better be, folks, because they have absolutely zero reason or authority for any mandate at any level over anything. There is no healthcare reason, none at all, for them to say, well, your rights no longer matter, and we can round you up and we can take you away and we can give you whatever sheep vitamins we think you have to have, whether you like it or not. Folks, I tell you what, there's a couple of things that I will fight to the death over. And one of them happens to be sticking things in my body I don't like. When I get sick, like, a stomach flu, it is one of the most awful feelings on the planet to get sick. because I ate something that was bad. It's another reason I don't like all of this fake meat shit. And maybe Uman will bring that up too. They're changing the name of Impossible Meat because it flopped, right? They need different names. They're going to try different shit to get that shit inside of us. I don't like the idea of being diseased and rotting from the inside out because of some crap they feed us. There's no mandate anywhere that's going to make me want to deal with them. And folks, heaven forbid, I'm telling you. Now, the only reason I see for having this mandatory sheep vitamin is they want humans taking the sheep vitamins to lead them into the meat factories where the meat gets ground all the way into the grave. This is nothing more than their agenda. It's about the Deagle numbers. It's about Bill Gates' dream of depopulation. Line up for your sheep vitamins, bah, or get in line to resist these people. Pick a side. It's your choice. So I'm going to ask you, what is your choice? It's always a choice, whether you think you've been given a choice or not, whether it feels like there is a choice, or whether it's a choice of two shitty things. There's not always a happy solution, folks, but I hope you're prepared. I hope you've got food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and your means of self-defense, because you always have a choice. Now, when I said means of self-defense, that reminded me of Pocahontas. That's right, Senator Warren opened her grisly yap trap and was bitching and whining in an interview about the Supreme Court reading, understanding, supporting, and ruling in favor of the Second Amendment, our rights. Senator Warren came out and she wanted to shoot her mouth off. And remember, with every breath, they lie. And with every little teeny piece of truth, it's got a lie in it. And they try and appeal to people's emotions with their lies. So here's an excerpt from Pocahontas' lips. They, meaning mayors and governors, these mayors and governors are the people who keep trying to shoot down the Second Amendment, like the governor of New Mexico, like the governor of Illinois, like the mayor of New York City. All of these people, they just want to make an executive decision to get rid of guns. So Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren says this. They said it was going to bring down gun violence, and they were right. Confiscation and outlawing of guns is going to bring down gun violence. This is what she says. They said it was going to bring down gun violence, and they were right. You mean like Chicago? The city of Chicago, where guns are illegal to have, hard to get, near impossible to get? And they were right. Right off the bat, the bitch lies. Now, she continues. Elizabeth Pocahontas or Liahontas Warren. And then an extremist United States Supreme Court said, nope, we're not going to let you do it. The Supreme Court did not say nope. The Supreme Court quoted the United States Constitution, the law of the land, which is superior to anything the government would want to do with their statutes and their rules and their interpretations of bullshit. We're not going to let you do it. No, the Supreme Court, folks, they worshiped when Roe v. Wade was in their favor. Oh, the Supreme Court says you can't deny us abortion because the Supreme Court. You notice how they shit all over the Supreme Court when they start losing there? And anyways, Liahontas continues. And then Congress wouldn't act to try and give them some of the tools to help gun violence. So mayors and governors are waiting for Congress to try and give them some tools to help fight gun violence. Local and state governments, folks, all of them have all the tools they need to fight all crimes, including gun violence. They have guns and they have badges. The mayors and governors and their law enforcement have guns and badges. They have investigative authority. They have investigative authority to find criminals and get them off the street, get the criminals. They have arrest authority. So when they find those criminals, they can arrest them, take them to jail. They have prosecutorial authority. Once they know that they've committed a crime and they've been arrested after the investigation and they're thrown in jail, they can then prosecute them. And then they hold the trial with a judge and a jury and a prosecutor and a defendant, and they have jailing authority. They can sentence them to jail. Those are the tools they have to fight gun violence. But when it comes down to it, they do not want the guns that the criminals have. Just like that stupid bitch in New Mexico, the governor. She's like, yeah, she knows that telling law-abiding citizens with open carry rights and concealed carry rights, that's not going to change what criminals do. Criminals are happy when they hear that you have been told you can't carry your weapon. They don't want the guns that criminals have. They want the guns that we have to protect ourselves from criminals. Criminals on the street and criminals in the state courthouses and courtrooms, and the criminals who pretend to be authority figures. From local, state, all the way to the federal government. It's loaded with criminals and liars, lawyers and scum. It's sickening. And the reason Elizabeth Liahontis Warren said this ridiculous bullshit that just sounds sweet as honey coming from a nasty old witch. It's hard to be nice, folks. Is because a court has already struck down the governor of New Mexico in her bullshit attempt to screw people over. I'm surprised it took a fucking week. But here we are, folks. The Constitution says what it says. The Second Amendment says what it says. The First Amendment says what it says. There have been volumes of books written in support of free speech, the Second Amendment, the Third, the Fourth, the Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, Ninth, 10, all the way to the end, and what it's all about, including the Founding Fathers and their debates and what they thought it was about. And our understanding doesn't require a legal scholar like Fannie Willis, Fannie the fat-ass Willis. It doesn't require someone now or even anyone back then, back in 1788 and 1787 and 1776, much less 1789 when they wrote the Constitution and then continued to debate it further. I can think with my own damn head and understand exactly what the purpose of the Second Amendment is and why it is my right. Irrespective of the Constitution, the right exists for me to choose to defend myself, and that I should have the ability to choose whatever form, fashion, or tool to defend myself as needed, as well as defend the country or the state in which I live. Country is synonymous with state, folks. In the United States, they kind of created this super state called the federal government. It is nothing more than a state of the forum. Anyways, I digress. I have a duty to protect the state I live in because it provides me with food, water, health, employment, etc. So yeah, defending one's state or territory in which they live just makes sense. You wouldn't want a foreign invader coming in here and fucking things up. So here we are. Oh yeah, I'm continuing every day, folks. Every day I continue to just look at what is going on and marvel at the absolute ignorance of what is happening. The absolute ignorance. Thank you, Mr. Skylight, and thank you, Mr. T, for doing what you've been doing out there, helping find articles, information, and then also some humor and sending it to me. And I went and dug up the old Biden says, yeah. Biden's, he's just special, folks. Just special. I mean, let's hear it again, just in case you forgot this wordsmith.
I know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
Wow. He said a mouthful there, did he not? I tell you. Let's go to the inner circle, folks. And we're back. We're back. We've got Mr. Ooman with the Big Blue Wrench behind the scenes. He's been chit-chatting with you guys. I'm sure of it. I bet he's been cautioning you guys, hey, have fun. Let's get some good questions up on the board, some good content, some good thoughts. And Ooman says the new buzzword for fake meat is cultivated meat. For a more sustainable environment. Okay. So, sustainable environment. They make it sound like interesting. They make it sound like the environment is going to end. Like there's only 3 cookies left in the store, and once those cookies are gone, they're never coming back. The environment has been here, folks, since the beginning of time. The environment has been here since the beginning of time. These people are marvelous wizards of lunacy. Sustainable environment. So what is cultivated meat? Well, let's start with soy protein. That comes from a plant. And it's a plant that is not healthy for humans to eat. It's not. I mean, I don't know how to say that. It's not fucking healthy to eat it. And so they want to turn it into a meaty type a meat-like product. Why not have a cow eat grass? Fields of grass, folks, are already growing, and the cows eat it. Now, to grow soybeans for cultivated meat, guess what they have to do? They have to burn diesel fuel to plow the fields, to harvest the soybeans. They use diesel fuel to pump water into the fields. They have to make rubber tires to put on the tractors to cultivate the fields, to plant the soybeans. They have to mine the ore to get the steel, to make the tractors, to put the rubber wheels on it, to burn the diesel fuel, to go roll back and forth and grow the soybeans. Or you can just leave the fucking field the way it is and have cows graze on the grass and turn that into safe meat, real meat, not cultivated crap. I don't care if you want to put yeast vomit in it that tastes like blood, so it has kind of a meaty taste. This is what they're doing, folks. The fake meat has failed. The impossible meat has failed. People didn't buy it at the fucking restaurants. They didn't buy it at the store. I love the pictures I've seen. Lots of pictures of entire meat sections cleared out, except for the fake meat section. But they're wanting to feed that shit to you. Look at how much crap we gave them, and we should have given them a lot more crap over their cricket crumbles. Right? Cricket protein, yum. Beetle grub juice, nice. Cockroach clusters, give me some of that. And then they're like, oh, no, we would never feed you guys bugs. The fuck they wouldn't. Look at what they're doing, folks. Look at what they're doing. They are slowly, incrementally, systematically trying to convince us to eat shit and die. Take your sheep vitamins too. Go line up for that shit because you know it's good for you. It'll make you healthy. You'll never get sick again. Trust them. They wouldn't lie to you 100 times in a row, right, motherfuckers? That's just how they are. They are liars and they want us dead. There's nothing that scares them more than knowing that you have a gun and a brain and a capable body and a willingness to do something about it. That's where we're at. That is precisely where we are at. I mean, they don't just want you to die. They want Trump to die, folks. That's right. On MSNBC, they've got a columnist there who says Trump must die in prison because they need to send a message to us, the public, that you can't do this. You can't have an insurrection, right? Unbelievable. He says, I think Donald Trump must die in prison because I don't care if he was 45 years old. You should get life in prison if you attempt a coup, and there should be no chance of parole. I don't care who it is. Attempt a coup. There was no coup. There was no insurrection. The only crime, folks, was the D.C. Metropolitan Police murdering and assaulting Republican men and women and murdering them, folks, murdering them. Here's where we're at. How good do you feel about the United States government there in Washington, D.C.? How good do you feel about it? I don't feel good about it at all. All right, Mr. Uman, what do we got next? Who is up? Who wants to have some fun with us? We got name redacted. He says, from Zero Dark. This will be good, I think. My theory, Ukraine is the off-radar lair of the New World Order. They evicted and now eradicating all human inhabitants to build their new permanent base. They are hiding it by provoking Russia. Russia is the excuse. They are amassing money and weapons in a de facto 1963 freedom from war plan. Can't look at all the people that want Zelensky to know who they are, and they want an entrance ticket. Now, I kind of like this theory. It sounds just like a conspiracy theory to me. So let's take a look, shall we? Let's back up to the very beginning of Name Redacted's theory, if we can. And again, this is a conspiracy theory, folks, because we're going to start with the conspiracy theory about the New World Order, a supposed clandestine group of wealthy, influential, powerful people from around the world who want to destroy republics and democracies and transplant it with their authoritarian dictatorships and run the world. That in itself is a conspiracy theory. That said, we've had that word, New World Order, mentioned by the current president of the United States, Joe Biden, multiple times, calling on, bringing forth the name, uttering its royalness, its holiness, the New World Order. George H.W. Bush, right? President of the United States back in 1992, couldn't help talking. Or was it 1989? That can't, anyways. Couldn't help but keep talking about a brave new world and a new world order and 1,000 points of light. What the hell was that guy talking about? And multiple politicians beside in America, in Europe. Now we have the Great Reset. Right? We got these clowns. There's still the New World Order, just under a different name. They went, it's the same people, whether it's Bilderbergs. It doesn't matter. They want their Great Reset. What is the Great Reset? It's the initiation or the commencement of their plan to destroy all democracy, all republics, and create a place that has mandatory cheap vitamins and reprogramming for your brain. Anyways, let's look at why would they want a new permanent base for themselves in Ukraine, so close to Russia? Why would they want to put their back against Russia? Actually kind of makes sense in a way. Ukraine is very rich in food and other mineral natural resources, which is what they've been exploiting now for years. They brought in their weapons bases, have they not? They want to bring in NATO bases. If they know that Russia hates them, then what safer place for them to be than right next to their enemy, who's afraid of them, who's afraid of getting nuclear warheads aimed at him? Yeah, they want to eradicate, it appears, as many Ukrainians if they can. They want to seriously limit the population. I see this as a beta test for eliminating population around the planet. Start regional wars, and then have the leaders stand up and go, well, if you don't come fight for us, we're going to throw you in prison or just kill you. And just start killing off people in every region of the planet, making lots more room for them in eliminating us as a threat to their power structure. Wouldn't surprise me, folks, right? They're using Russia and blaming Russia for wiping out a population of people so they can claim the country for themselves. You guys ever hear about how the how the nation of how the Israelis came about? There was no country called Israel, folks, or Israeli, the Israelis, before 1900. It was a political treaty and a political bargain that created the state of Israel down there in the Holy Land. There's a lot of history that I don't share and know about, and I'm sure you guys know about it as well, or lots of pieces. That's what they want to do, is give us little pieces of information and keep everything else hidden. I'm telling you, folks, I'm telling you, look out. They are hiding a whole lot in these wars. They destroy a lot of information. They destroy their enemies. They use war to shape social, political, and cultural traditions. That's what they use war for. Now, years ago, I theorized in my conspiracy theory that the United States of America, under the U.S. Constitution, was an experiment. How many times have we heard the experiment of the United States of America, blah, 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 blah. An experiment, huh? Well, they experimented with our country. They experimented with other forms of government. They created communism, Marxism, socialism. They tried it out. They tried out fascism, pure communism, to see which one works better, how these systems work, what's sustainable for them to maintain political control and economic control. They've been experimenting for hundreds of years, if not thousands. And they're thinking, yeah, they've got a system, and it's time once again for a change. Enough of this freedom and liberty shit for humans. It's just not working for us rich people that run everything. So fuck you, little people. Take your sheep vitamins and then go to war and fight other sheep. And we'll see how well you hold up. Get back to us in about 10 years when you're all dead. These people really look at us, folks, as expendable. As what's the term they used during COVID? Essential and non-essential. How much more fucking dehumanizing could it get? Are you non-essential? When you go in your refrigerator and you just throw food away because it's gone bad, it's spoiled, you don't need it, you don't want it, you couldn't get to it, you couldn't give a fuck about it. It's non-essential food. That's the attitude, folks. Non-essential. Non-essential. Now, while we're on this gig, name redacted, Ukraine, the country of Ukraine, has a transgender spokesman. It has a stark warning. Here's the quote. All will be hunted down and justice will be served. I'll have an order of Clown World with a side order of extra clown, please. They have a tranny spokesman out there for Ukraine, folks. What they're doing is they're combining LGBT plus and Nazi tactics and communist threats. They're combining them all right now. And it's playing out in front of us. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. This person, this little freaky fruitcake who's wearing olive drab greens, it almost looks like a joke. He looks like John Lovitz with a blonde wig on. These people are a bunch of sick bastards, folks. Sarah Ashton Carrillo is a U.S. transgender soldier serving as an English-speaking spokesperson for Ukraine. Why does Ukraine, a country that does not speak English, need an English-speaking spokesperson? Why? Russia won't understand a fucking word it is saying. No, Russia won't understand a word. The Ukrainians won't understand a fucking word. Half of Europe will not understand a word this freaky fruitcake is saying. Now get this. There's more quote from this fucking fruit salad dingbat. Russia hates the truth that their obsessive focus on the Ukrainian volunteer is simply allowing the light of the Ukrainian nation's honesty to shine brightly. What the fuck does that mean? The nation's honesty to shine brightly. The nation, folks, of Ukraine is being led by Zelensky, a light in the loafers, fruit salad tossing freak who went to pride parades in New York City. How is he even remotely a reflection of Ukraine's moral, decent, cultural, traditional way of life? No, he's not. The nation's honesty to shine brightly. How many secret biolabs did they have in their country? Was it 28 or 29? How's that for the nation's honesty? They have the Azov Battalion, a bunch of devout Nazis that they've been trying to hide from us, that YouTube is now hiding. How's that for the nation's honesty? Now, get this, coming from somebody who doesn't understand which gender they were born with and denies it and thinks that they're a girl while they talk tough like a guy. This fruitcake said this next. Next week, the teeth of the Russian devils will gnash even harder, and their rabid mouths will foam in uncontrollable frenzy as the world will see a favorite Kremlin propagandist pay for their crimes. Are you fucking kidding me? Teeth of the Russian devils gnashing even harder? Rabid mouths foaming in an uncontrollable frenzy? Pay for their crimes. You capitalist pigs will pay for your crimes. This guy sounds like a mixture of bad biblical, spaghetti western, bullshit, plastic banana, good time, rock and roll, Persian bazaar bullshit. Woo! Wow, but he's not there. But wait, there's more. What they're doing, folks, is they're trying to rout out propagandists. That is anyone that disagrees. So Zelensky, an entertaining comedian, homosexual musician who was catapulted into control of the world's most corrupt country, has a spokesman who does a weenie tuck and thinks he's a girl. This is what this person says. While sitting in a chair in an olive drab green military-styled shirt or blouse, since it's a girl, with a Eastern European-looking blonde wig on. I'm surprised that they even let him shave for this, but he did. And he has this to say: this puppet of Putin is only the first of Russia's war criminals. Propagandists will all be hunted down and justice will be served. Propagandists, folks, speak. Free speech. They're calling free speech propaganda there. And if you want to exercise your free speech, you will be hunted down and justice will be served, says the communist behaving, looking little tyrannical bitch. And then get this. Someone who is a perverted freak who does the weenie tuck, probably is a butt pirate on top of everything else, says this. Get ready for this one. We in Ukraine are led on this mission by faith in God, liberty, and complete liberation. So the Sodomites have faith in God. Their mission is for liberty, really, like allowing no one free speech and no one free movement and forcing everyone to serve in the military and be shoved into the front teeth of a Russian war machine that is grinding them to pieces. And finally, folks, the last two words: complete liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from what? Unbelievable, folks. Unfucking believable. Survival Readiness says, John, do you think Hunter could get Marilyn Monroe, i.e. a drug overdose, to get rid of him and his legal issues and maybe get Sleepy Joe some sympathy votes for 2024? Would save Dad a lot of headaches. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. I really believe that Joe Biden loves Hunter Biden more than he loves himself. I believe that. I believe he loves his son, but he loves him in a way that none of us could understand. I don't think Joe would like that. I don't think Joe would want that. I think Joe would rather sacrifice himself than have Hunter hurt or go to jail. I think Joe is going to pull every string, every threat, every bribe, every extortion move he can to keep Hunter out of jail. I strongly believe that. I'm sure Joe is going to the powers that be above him, his masters, and saying, look, I've devoted my life to kissing your ass and fucking America over. And so I expect my son Hunter to not go to jail. That's what I expect. Now, he could get Marilyn Monroe drug overdose. We could have a John F. Hinckley moment or a Sirhan moment where he's assassinated by a would-be killer who is a mind-controlled puppet. Drug overdose would make the most sense since he is a big drug addict. Right? He's a cocaine sniffer, a cocaine bear. I tell you. We live in a weird world, folks, and we've got a lot more strangeness coming. Joe is losing support from youth and from women. I believe he's lost support from the Black American community a long time ago with his continuous retarded insults. And anyone with a modicum of thinking brain in their head would be insulted by, well, frankly, his insults. His insults. Orlando has a statement for us. He says, hey, with all their stupidity, mental illness, and inability to form rational statements or thoughts, we now have a federal building that equates to that of the world's biggest nursing home. That is correct. Mittens Romney suggested all the Democrats and Republicans step down for a younger generation's turn. I know that he said he's going to step down. This came from Mikey G. Mittens Romney. Yeah, he is going to step down. I said yesterday when he made that statement that what he's probably doing is he's being a rat that is fleeing a ship that is sinking in a septic tank full of crap. They aren't going to want to be anywhere near this ship when it's done, folks. They know there is going to be a riotous, calamitous, cosmic scaled revolt against them. And I really hope that everyone does everything they can to make sure wherever they try hiding, they are exposed. They're supposed to go to New Zealand, right? A lot of these people. And then there's this new idea that was put forth right here on the Prepared Mind channel that Ukraine, not Eastern Ukraine, which has breakaway republics which have joined the Russian Federation, but rather the rest of Ukraine. They're making lots of room in that country with its remaining food and natural resources for these rich bastards to make their little hideouts there. Oh, folks, Ukraine is it's very difficult country, but they want to be safe and get away from us. Who in their right mind would leave? Who would leave Poland or Germany to venture into Ukraine to look for people like George Soros or Mittens Romney? We got one heck of a shit show. That is for damn sure. And it's not going to get better, folks. No siree. It's going to get a lot stupider, a lot worse, a lot more dangerous, and a lot more deadly. Want your sheep vitamins? Go right on down there. They'll jack you up full of those sheep vitamins because they're healthy for you. I love how they're totally ignoring the fact. All the facts about the former sheep vitamins. So Muho steps in and says, hey, all. Hi, all. Interesting. Just saw the latest interview with Trump and Megyn, meaning Megyn Kelly, formerly of Fox. Incredible how he thinks he did good with Operation Warp Speed. A total and complete moron. Amazing. It's Planet of the Apes. Operation Warp Speed. They did all they could to get those sheep vitamins to us as quick as they could, did they not? I don't know if he's a total and complete moron, but I do believe he was duped. He was duped. He believed what he was told. It's hard to put myself in his shoes because I've never walked a day in Donald Trump's shoes. But he's got a vast empire of businesses, right? We'll just use that term, vast empire of businesses. Do you think he can run any one of them himself? Probably not, but he probably had a habit of putting good people in positions of power and authority in his businesses that had proven themselves competent and make him money. That's what most rich people do. They don't go down there and make cars on the line, the assembly line. I'm sure the Fords didn't go down and work 14, 16-hour days sweating on the assembly lines. No, they had people doing that for them, making them their money. So I think Trump brought his idea of handling people, putting people in positions of power and authority to get done what he wants done. This is what leaders do, folks. Trump got to Washington and he was lied to from day one. Whether you want to talk about Jeff Sessions as the Attorney General or Bill Barr. Whether you want to talk about Mike Pence or Mitch McConnell or Kevin McCarthy, the leaders of the Republicans in the House, in the Senate, and in the White House as vice president. They're all, as far as I'm concerned, a bunch of sellout turncoat POSs. So yeah, Operation Warp Speed was a complete and abject destructive failure, in that they pushed sheep vitamins on people and they lied. They absolutely lied. Fauci's come out and admitted the problems that he created. Why isn't he being arrested? Right? If I did something like they have done, if I come out and said, hey, I've got this snake oil. Right? If I went in the kitchen and put a bunch of spices and chemicals together and shit and mixed it up in a bottle where it was all fizzy and had a funny smell, and then said, everyone needs to shoot themselves up with this. This is going to save lives. After 2 or 3 people were dead, I'm sure someone would want to come and get me and throw me in jail and prosecute me for basically murder, for knowing that I had created a concoction that was deadly and toxic, but I didn't give a shit. Yet these people get away with it, and we're supposed to just believe that, well, they did their best. I don't know, folks. We got one hell of a mess coming. Now, Charles Gentry says, don't like Trump, just consider him the lesser of 2 evils. Oh, it's an anti-Trump day. He says, when the choices are the lesser of 2 evils, you need to take a dirt nap. You have already completely fucked up. Interesting. I get it. I do not like the lesser of 2 evils. I do not like being told I only have 2 choices. I have to choose A or choose B. A or B. What if I don't like A or B? The only way we're going to get out of this, folks, is through a very nasty period of time. Because we're dealing with two political parties that are full of evil bastards. And to think that one is less evil, so it's good, is not our solution. We need, and I hate to be frank about this, but I'm going to be frank about this. We need a great reset. Now, stay with me. When your computer freezes, when your computer crashes, when your computer quits working, what do? You do a reboot, a hard reboot, or AKA a reset, a hard reset. Now, does that mean you take all of your operating system and throw it away, and all of your software and throw it away? All of your updates and throw it away? All of your data and throw it away? No. You do a reboot and you start the computer and the programs at the very beginning when they worked, before there was a problem. That's what a reset is good for. You wipe out all the stupid bullshit, the viruses, if you will. You get it all out of the way. You clear everything and you go back to the very beginning, the basic program. We need that. We need a great reset, folks. And I'm not a proponent of the reset the bad guys want. And I'll make a clear distinction here in just 1 second, because it's the end of the show also. We need a reset back to the U.S. Constitution. And I say get rid of the amendments to the Constitution, 11 and on. Fuck them. We all understand what freedom is, and it doesn't matter what color you are. We're all free. Man, women, black, white, don't matter. We need to start again with the basic program we know works, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And the people need to be given their liberty back. Now, the great reset that the World Economic Forum wants, the New World Order, the Bilderbergs, the scumbags want, is not what I just prescribed. Their great reset is to destroy government while they retain power and control of the military, the gold, the weapons, the nukes, and the bureaucracy. They want government to stay around enough that they can control it. That's what they want. That's their great reset. While they poison the fuck out of us with shitty food made out of bugs and chemicals, and of course give us our sheep vitamins. And then if they need more help, well, then they'll just start some regional wars. I tell you, folks, that when I really get into the show with you guys, it reminds me of how fucked up humanity is and how disgusting the leaders are. The so-called leaders. They don't lead anything. They're a bunch of selfish, greedy pricks. But I get done every day, and I go have some dinner, and I enjoy myself as much as I can for a couple of minutes. And then I wake up and I do it all again. And then on the weekends, I take Saturday and I try and do something good for myself, something healthy, something to clear my head and try to remember what America is good about. What am I going to be fighting for when I start fighting? That's important to me. What am I fighting for? I'm fighting for freedom and liberty, for life. That's what I'm fighting. That's why I'm doing this right now. I am not getting rich, folks, doing this. I'm not wealthy doing this. I'm not even middle fucking class doing this. I'm sitting in front of a fucking green sheet and talking to you about how everything is going down like crap. But it is you guys that are supporting this channel and the message and the mission, because you're still here, because people like Charles is commenting and putting his thoughts up there. We need to have these discussions about what is happening, who is good, who is bad, and what the fuck. It's important to have the thoughts, free speech, but be prepared with everything else: food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and that means a self-defense. because the time is going to come at some point. Are you prepared? I'll see you guys 0 Dark 30 and tomorrow afternoon, the Friday free for all. I'll see you then.